The intense bonding connection between twins is called the twinning reaction by researchers and psychologists. My neighbor, the dog trainer, says, never adopt two puppies from the same litter because they'll never obey you. Same concept. Our obstetrician did not hear the second heartbeat until 18 weeks. I was already panicked about motherhood. Now there'd be identical twin boys? I thanked the doctor for her attention to detail, waddled out of her office like a giant indignant stability ball, and attempted to prepare myself for two infants. I baby-proofed the house by tie-wrapping gates to every door, wall, and table. Our living room looked like a giant escape-proof goat pen. I bought 4 sets of sheets and blankets for each crib, plus a front-to-back stroller, a side-by-side double jogger, and a fancy McLaren fold-up. I budgeted for babysitters, bought 20 cases of Costco diapers, and created a sign-up genius meal chart for family and friends. I was ready. Yet nothing could have prepared me for the intensity of their connection and the ways they'd interact with each other that would test my parenting skills and make sleep deprivation seem like a paper cut. As infants, they demanded to nurse together, puked in stereo at 3 a.m., and dropped bulk supplies of Binkies through the slats of their crib until we wised up and separated them at nap time. At 6 months, we hung their bouncy seats in opposing doorways. Eyes firmly locked, as if preparing for a sumo match, each boy pushed off with his legs like a crazed kangaroo, rebounding higher and higher and higher. Neither boy dropped his gaze or rested his legs until their mesmerized 5-year-old cousin puked on the carpet. When we introduced grown-up foods, their bond won out over Mom's wishes every time. Axel would try anything, but Aiden was picky. One night, Axel sat on Grampy's lap, eagerly eating salmon from Grampy's plate, and Aiden, with the vehemence of a bodyguard alerting the king to hemlock, shouted from the other end of the table, "Spit it out, Axel! Spit it out!" To get enough protein into them, I resorted to chasing the twins around the backyard, shoving cheese sticks into their mouths like a baton-wielding relay runner with reluctant partners. When the boys were 2.5, my husband came through the front door and shouted, "What's with all the blood?" I pulled my head out of the dryer. Sure enough, there was a red trail up the stairs. I sprinted to inspect the twins, now calmly seated in front of the Wiggles TV show. Axel had a deep cut down his arm, but shrugged at me in explanation. We found a bloody, broken laundry basket and realized the boys had dragged each other through the house in the basket, and a section of the plastic had given way, ripping Axel's arm. Stopping the game to complain, cry, or fill in their mother would have been unnecessarily inconvenient. When they were 3, the preschool suggested we test their hearing. It seems they weren't following instructions. And the teachers feared it was because their ears might be impaired. I related this to my friend, a mom of identical twin girls, who laughed with me like we were watching a Melissa McCarthy comedy skit. We knew they weren't deaf, just so focused on playing with their twin they blocked out the rest of the world. A common scenario in both of our homes: Mom calling, then yelling, then screaming, either or both twin names, and finally resorting to placing her face inches from theirs and bellowing at jet engine decibels with spittle flying. The twins would finally glance up in shock that their mother was even in the house. Potty training proved to be 100 times harder than necessary due to tag teaming. Once again, it was inconvenient to their focused playtime to interrupt for a diaper change. I'd walk into a room with my hand covering my nose and mouth and mumble, "Who's got the stinky diaper?" Without looking up, they'd point at each other. "Him," they'd say in unison. I reached the outer limits of desperation and put M&Ms and Hot Wheels cars on the mantle as rewards for using the toilet. Just as Axel was coming around and enthusiastically earning prizes, Aiden used his influence once more, staring me down and instructing, "No, Axel. No M&Ms." And just like that, Axel was back in a pull-up. I threw up my hands in defeat, stripped them, and sent them naked into the backyard, pooping and peeing like like enthusiastic baby coyotes. In the end, neither my army of strollers or my meal chart, nor the garage full of diapers prepared me for my twins' connection and the ways it would undo me. Eventually, we put them in different first grade classrooms, which made them more independent and slightly more obedient. I've resigned that my same litter children may never give me their undivided attention. But the twinning reaction has its benefits. They have a close relationship, they work together well on sports teams, and they're generally fearless because they always have a wingman. I'm sure someday I'll own clean carpets, have poop-free landscaping, and get a good night's sleep. And as their mom, I'll also have the comfort of knowing that each of my boys has a brother they would choose as their best friend every time.